Welcome to Inter-America, New Mexico, the channel where we look at questions of wonder from the perspectives of faith and reason, philosophy and theology. I'm your host, Daniel Kelly, and today is a listener, supporter requested episode, and I've been, this request came in a while ago, and I've been trying to work it to see how we could do it best, because this channel isn't focused on apologetics, and this question is usually framed as an apologetic question. So we just had the the anniversary of Roe versus Wade, where we pray for the protection of the unborn. As Catholics pray for that. And also what I find interesting is we're in the middle of the week during that time of praying for Christian unity. So Catholics have what's called the octave of Christian unity, and I find it very interesting, because I think that's one of the places that we find a lot of unity is with our other separated brothers and sisters, is in these social moral issues where we're trying to defend something that is good. In my work, I'm sometimes asked to give talks at different pro-life conferences in our state, and New Mexico is very, very bad on the protection of life. It's one of the worst states in the whole union, which makes me, of course, very sad. But I give talks. One of my supporters asked me, hey, that I'd been to one of these talks, said, couldn't you repurpose one of your talks that you give at these pro-life conferences for a video? And I was like, well, I'm not really a big apologetics channel, but I was thinking about it, and I think one of the really important things that we don't think about is the wonder, and I'm going to do more videos on this, the wonder of the human being. It's the rational soul, the rational creature, is the most wondrous thing there is. We could talk about the image of God and how it means different things, but one of the things that people have traditionally said, hey, made in the image of God, is that we're rational, we're like God, and that God is intelligent and smart. And it's amazing. So I think it's very important that we do defend our unborn brothers and sisters in the womb. And I'm going to be giving some of the things I've found in my life that are very effective. And you're going to see as we go through in defending that wonder of the unborn, or just the wonder of the person, how we defend the wonder of a person. How do we defend that? And you'll see as we go through that I use a lot of arguments and stuff that other better apologists use. So I always put a bunch of resources in the descriptions of all my videos. I like to put all the sources and stuff that inspire me or that I think you could dig deeper. I do that for all my videos, but definitely if you're interested in more of this, check out those resources, because I'm going to put a lot from Trent Horn. He's inspired a lot of the work that I do. Stephanie Gray Connors, I take a lot of stuff from her, and just a bunch of other resources. So definitely check that out. So one of the things when we're talking to people about that maybe don't agree with us on how important defending the unborn is, one of the things that I think we can forget, but that's so important in any conversation we're having, especially any conversation that's high stakes like this. We believe it's about the life of an unborn person, that there's no higher stakes than the life of a person, right? So we get agitated, we can get angry, we can do different things, but what we're defending is the wonder of the human person, and that includes the wonder of the person we're talking to. So you can never lose sight of this person across from me, this person that I'm talking to, this person that I'm engaging with, even if they're throwing drinks at me, that's happened to me, even if they're cussing at me and, flipping me the bird, whatever, they're the most amazing thing that's ever been created. They image Jesus Christ in a way nothing else does. They share in the divine life in a way no one else can. And that's amazing. And so we need to be kind, not nice necessarily. Sometimes we have to say things that aren't nice, but always kind, and we need to see Jesus in that person. I don't care if you think that person's acting like Hitler. Jesus is in them, and you need to see Jesus in that person. And if you can't, then you shouldn't be engaging on that level, if we can't see Jesus in a person. We need to separate the opinion and the person, right? Some people say, well, I respect all opinions, but that's ridiculous. The more I respect a person, the more I might not take his opinion seriously. That sounds counterintuitive, but think about this. If I really, really respect a person, I'm going to know that he wants me to tell him, hey, you're driving towards a cliff, and I respect you enough that you'll listen to my input, and your opinion that there's no cliff there where you're barreling at 80 miles per hour, barreling towards it. That opinion's not worthy of respect because there is in fact a cliff there. But because you're worthy of respect, I'm going to share this with you. So we always, and I think the sharing is important. We've got this great gift, right, that we're trying to give to the other person. We're not trying to win an argument. That's super important. We're not trying to badger anybody. We're not trying to get people on our team. That's silliness. And we get in, because we're fallen, we get in that mindset. But no, we're not supposed to be doing any of that. What we're supposed to be doing is sharing the great joy we have, and the joy and the wonder of the unborn human person. And to do that, we need to see the wonder that is present in the person that we're engaging with. Sometimes a story that's variously attributed to different ancient cultures, but it's a very old story in the Near East is where a lot of people say it comes from, that I love, is this lady is always very, very impatient with people, and she's like, I want to be more impatient, so she goes and she finds a guru, and she's like, I really need to be more patient. How can I be more patient with people? And her kid she had brought with her, while she's talking to the guru, he's like a toddler or something, and he picks up a board and starts hitting her with it, and she doesn't get mad at anything. She just takes the stick away and keeps talking to the guru, and he's like, hey, why didn't you get mad at him? Well, he's just a kid, you know. I love him, and he doesn't mean to hurt me. And he's like, well, see everybody like that, and then you'll do well. And I think that's really important when we're doing pro-life work. So one of the things people ask me is, how do we more effectively, and this is usually what my talks are on, is how do we more effectively share, the gospel of life? How do we share the wonder of the unborn human person? So it's too much. A lot of people want to share with somebody that they're engaging with. It's so exciting. You want to share all this kind of pro-life resources you've got. But that's too much. You want to make one point and stick with it. And no matter what, stick with it. Because when you're engaging with people, a lot of times they want to go down rabbit holes and stuff, and that's not usually a good thing to do. So one idea or theme I found, so the value of the human person, that's a good one. But a good one that I've found effective, and not just me, I'm borrowing this from the apologist Trent Horn, and I have resources of his in the description, but is, what are the unborn? Are they a human being? If they're human, then no justification is possible to murder them, right? They're innocent. If they're not human, no justification is needed for an abortion, right? So I also find it's very helpful when I'm talking about these things to compare it to a 2-year-old, right? Because what's a 2-year-old different than a baby in the womb? They're still going to die if you don't give them food and shelter and take care of them, all this stuff. So the 2-year-old comparison I found in my own life, that's really, really helpful. And you just stay on that. What is the unborn? Is it a human? If it's a human and it's innocent, we can't just kill it, right? It's pretty straightforward. That's but just pick one theme and stick with it. 5 weaker arguments that and I'm borrowing this again from Trent Horn, but also with my own, what I found in my life, pro-life work. 5 weaker arguments is that I think we need to be careful about using, that a lot of pro-lifers use, would be, you shouldn't abort. What about adoption, or what about these other resources? I don't like any resource-based arguments, because what about if you're in a country that doesn't have those resources? Is it okay to kill an unborn baby then? No, of course it's not. What about in saying, hey, no, look, we do provide resources, and pro-life people do. Actually, most of my work has been in, crisis pregnancy centers, helping people, homeless people, things like that. So we do have resources, but derails the conversation, and you don't want to focus on that. So it's good sometimes. This argument can be good on a personal level if you know this person's just looking for resources or just looking for help or something like that, or after we've shown that abortion's wrong, then it could be good. But as an argument against abortion, hey, you don't need to abort, you could just put up for adoption. That's not a good argument. Another one is abortion hurts women, and this is really is true, but it's actually not a good argument, right? Is blowing up civilians bad because the soldier's going to get PTSD from it? No. PTSD is a symptom of the moral evil, but it's not the moral evil itself, right? So this could be a good conversation starter because it makes someone interested. Oh, this is hurting women and we don't want women to be hurt. But I don't think it should ever be your main argument. Babies feel pain. Pro-lifers use this a lot, and I think it is really good. Pathos, right? There's the 3 parts of an argument when you're presenting it, is pathos, logos, and ethos. Pathos is like the emotional part. You need an emotional draw to your argument. But it's not good logically. It's not good logos. Because it's good as an illustration, but what about we don't have good evidence that the little babies that are being aborted, like 20 weeks or something, or the earlier ones, and that's when most abortions are, they might not feel pain. We're not sure. And what about, it doesn't show that something's wrong or not. A dog feels pain, but we can still put him down. Like, what if a dog has cancer or something, we could still put it down. And what about if we gave the baby painkillers? Would that make abortion okay? No. So I don't like that argument. Another argument that I hear a lot that I don't think is effective is the brainwaves argument. Look, the baby has brainwaves. Well, it's difficult. The biology around it's difficult. An 8-week-old fetus, does it necessarily have brainwaves? Is it the electrical impulses that are present there, or similar to what amoebas have? So, what we should focus on is it's distinctly human. Okay, and it doesn't matter if it's brain waves or showing it's human or not. I think it derails the conversation onto science that doesn't matter, that's not important. Another argument I find a lot that isn't helpful is the argument. Again, this is a very good pathos one, a good one to show some aspects, but what if you aborted Beethoven or the next pope or something like that? Well, that's grounding someone's worth in their future activity, which no one's worth is grounded in any activity at all. We're human beings. We're worth just from being human, not human doings. And it's human life has intrinsic value, because you could say, well, maybe I'm aborting Hitler, who knows? But you can justify anything, right? Because you could say, oh, look, rape must not be wrong, because look, this person who's the product, the pregnancy came about from a rape, and they become this super good composer. Oh, the rape must not have been wrong. No, that's crazy. So it can be good to show that circumstances don't define you, because look, this person could turn out to be Beethoven. Sweet. But I really don't like this argument. I think it's really weak. And so the second thing that I often talk about in pro-life conferences I've been to is what's called they say, I say section. They're like, when people are saying, I'm having someone come at me with this specific thing, what should I say in response? And I have a lot of fun with this in conferences, so I just took some of the ones that people have asked me and kind of put them together. One is, what if someone tells me, yeah, but women are going to go to prison if it's made illegal? So obviously this is silly. I'm going to put some resources on this. No pro-life bill adopted in the U.S. law is putting the women in prison. It puts the doctors in prison, stuff like that. Doesn't criminalize the women. No woman has been prosecuted since 1922. That's way before Roe versus Wade. Okay, and I'll put some resources for that. What about pro-lifers? People sometimes say, hey, what about pro-lifers who think women should be put in prison? So, like, for example, one of my heroes in the pro-life cause, Stephanie Gray Connors, she does think that women should be put. Well, don't get caught in that. That derails the conversation. I'm going to say right now why I don't think, but you shouldn't have to discuss this with the person. Don't get derailed. But I don't think women who have abortions should be put in prison because for any crime, there's 2 parts. There's the actus rea, what you actually do, and the mens rea, the mental part. And any crime needs those. Well, not any crime. I'm not going to get into all the legal stuff. That's for my other degree. But I don't think people... So like first-degree murder, you have to intend... intended to kill somebody. But I think our culture has conditioned people so much, the woman often doesn't know what they're doing fully, if that kind of makes sense. That's why I kind of think that women shouldn't be prosecuted, because maybe if we have a pro-life culture for a while, yeah, it'd be counted as murder. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But right now, nobody's proposing that seriously, legislatively, and I don't think it'd be good to. What about, but don't get caught into that. What if they say people have miscarriages, spontaneous abortions, so-called? So no one's going to prison even for purposeful abortions when the woman intends. Nobody's going to be going to prison for spontaneous so-called abortions. And this is a bad argument anyways. I would just come back, say to somebody, well, 1/3 of, in many times and places, like in the third world or ancient times, 1/3 of children wouldn't make it to adulthood. Does that mean during those times or in those places you can just kill kids? No, that's dumb. So that is what I would say to that. What about back alley abortions? Women are gonna die. Well, first of all, you're like, someone's dying in abortion no matter what. The kid's dying. But I would say most of the statistics that people cite for this is just totally made up. You can look at Dr. Bernard Nathanson's work. He was an abortionist that made up a bunch of this that became pro-life. You can look at the statistics. Even the director of Planned Parenthood, before abortion was made legal, was saying, look, it's totally safe. There's not a lot of abortions happening. And you should see that if that's true, that it's more dangerous if it's illegal. You should see in countries where it's illegal, there be more deaths from women seeking this. But in 2010, there were 21 maternal deaths per 100,000 people in the U.S. and only 5 per 100,000 in Poland. Okay, so in Poland it's illegal to do abortion, so we should think that'd be higher. And there's other countries you could look at as well for that. So we're not seeing any evidence that more women die when abortion is illegal. What about when people say it's just a clump of cells, glob of tissue? My just quick response would be that science tells us a new, distinct, unique human being appears from fertilization. It's identifiably human. If it's not human, then what is it? Stuff like that. I'm going to put some resources for people like, there was that, a while ago, several years ago, that picture and that article in The Guardian, this is what the baby looks like, it's just a clump of cells. I'll put some refutations of that in the show notes. What about the woman's body, the right to choose argument? Well, we never have a right to do what's wrong. My right to move my hand is against your right to not be slapped in the face, right? And you shouldn't get that belligerent, but our rights are weighed against other people's right. So the baby has the right to live outweighs our right to choose what we're doing with our lives, right? Some people say, and I hear this very, very often, you're just pro-birth, right? Would you adopt a baby that's not wanted? First of all, I would always say, yeah, I would. But it's better being pro-birth than anti-birth, is another good thing to say to that. And are these people taking in people who are domestically abused? Are they just taking them into their home? Or does that mean that they think domestic abuse is okay? Yeah, it's silly. Turn back to the main argument. What about women's lives are going to be in danger? Well, no law prohibits doing what is medically necessary when a woman's life is in danger, right? And this is super rare anyway, and we know that hard cases make bad law. That's an axiom, so don't get sidetracked on this. Let's see what more ones, and I have a big list of people ask me from different things, and just gonna go through. What about we don't legislate morality? It's just your Christian morality. Well, all laws are based in some kind of morality. That's silly. And it's not just Christian. Lots of societies look at the Hippocratic Oath. Forbids abortion. There's a Near Eastern oath that doctors would take that forbids abortion. All kinds of things. It's not just a Christian thing. People have realized that abortion is wrong to do from a long time, and all the laws we made are based off our morality. Some people will say, I'm personally opposed, but you shouldn't legislate. Well, just take another thing that they think is wrong and say, would being personally opposed be enough for this? So what about the people who are just personally opposed to slavery? Well, that's not okay. You have to actively get rid of slavery. What about people who were personally opposed? A lot of Germans were personally opposed to deporting Jews. Was it okay? No, they need to stand up, right? And then there's a lot more. Maybe I'll do another video on this, but I think that's kind of the time that we have now. And I just want to reiterate, the main thing we're defending is the wonder, the value of the human person, both in the womb and the person we're talking to, and throughout life. And so just focus on that, and I think we can grow together as Christians, as a community, as a country. Thank you, and God bless you.